Plan was catch up on some sleep, wake up, get ready, get some refuel a little bit, get some energy, some food, and all those things. Then go to the day party, which I told several people about. Didn't know if they were coming in. Was not too concerned. It was more of I knew I was going to be there. I knew it was going to be a good time, so I invited them to join. It had kind of been like a invitation that I shared with several people, particularly like throughout the week, and was like, hey, if they show up and come out, then it'll be cool to see them. It'll be a good time, and all the merrier. And if they don't, I'm gonna still be out there having my fun, and that's what I did. Was out there again, better with the conversation starting. Starting conversations with more people, even a couple groups. Better. Like, I still realize there are many higher levels to get to, but noticeably better. So with it being a big goal, a big push of mine, I am pleased and feel good about that. Still, I do feel like still tending towards conversations with individuals more so than groups, but a little bit better at speaking to the groups as well. So definitely overall an improvement from where I had been, which had been a big priority of mine. Again, still something I want to continue pushing forward and doing at an even higher level. I don't even know that I want to add to that. It's just something I like really, really want. I feel like it is the big next step, right? There, were and are things that I could, nitpick at in the conversations with people yesterday where I could have said something differently or, offered more of a chance for follow up or something like that. But I also feel pretty pleased with how I showed up. One thing that affected that in a big way was at the party, ended up running into a woman that I've been dating, that I've gone on several dates with. And the dynamics of being in the party alone are very different than being in someone that you're there together with. And that's even the other thing, is that my approach yesterday and in the past, my recent approach, which I feel like has been working well, is kind of like I said, hey, I'm going to be out doing these things anyway. If you're there and would like to join, great, it would be nice to see you. If not, that's okay. I'm still going to be out doing these things. So that was my approach going into yesterday of, this is something I want to go to, I enjoy. I did know that she was going to be there. She did tell me she was going to be there. But it was, from my perspective, it was like, I'm doing this anyway, whether you're there or not. And I'm going to have a good time whether you're there or not. And I got there before her and was having a good time before she was there. The thing was then when she was there, it was very much, I felt pressured. I felt like she was like, give me attention. Like, I'm here, dance with me, walk around with me, talk to me, hang out with my friends. And it's like, I'm having fun doing my own thing. And so I brought that up and talked to her a little bit about it yesterday, but I really don't feel like it's like sunk in. I feel like in the way I feel like she is taking it is like, Jamal, you're saying that I'm asking you to do stuff, do what I want to do what I want to do, what I want to do. And that's not fair or not right or whatever. I feel like what I'm saying is like what I'm saying is like I want her to understand and accept that like there will be times when we're not together. And so if we go to meet and I'm busy, that's fine. It just means that we don't meet. And so then follow up and be like, oh, what about this time? What about that time? Like, if we didn't meet at the time when I was available, then these other times I'm not available. And so to even follow up and be like, what about this other time, is like, you don't really understand that this was the time I'm free, these other times I'm not free. So please stop asking me about these times that I've told you I'm not free. And I feel like it's come up in like so many different ways as well. Yesterday, I start coughing. She's like, I start coughing. I'm gonna go get some water. Why don't you sit down while I go get you some water? No, thank you. I'm gonna go get some water. Okay, well, I'm going to walk with you to get the water. No, thank you. I'm fine. I can get the water myself. Go over to start getting the water. Start coughing again. She gets the water for me after I said I was going to get the water. Then sits down and is like, come join me at the seat. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stand. Moves over, asks someone else to move. No, it's right here. And it's like, you're not listening to the things I'm telling you. And that is my frustration with her. Is like, I'm telling you, no, I'm not available, and you're not listening. I'm telling you, no, I don't want to do this, and you're not listening. You're asking me if I want to dance. I'm telling you no, and that's not acceptable. So I even feel the emotion coming out as I'm saying it. But yeah, like the place that I'm at now is it's put a damper on the event. I was having more fun by myself there than trying to manage that complication. That's what it felt like. It was a complication and a distraction and a mood kill. And it's like what I feel is like this is trouble. Like trying to manage you and deal with you and what you want is like extra work that is work. I don't feel like I'm getting the enjoyment, the fulfillment, the whatever out of it. It's just a hassle. And so it will not continue in the way that it currently is. And she kept going back to, well, do you still want to, continue to try and make things work? And it's like, that's not the point. Yeah, I like you and you like me, but if you're not listening to me, then I'm not going to keep talking to you. So it doesn't matter how much I like you, like liking you and wanting to continue, like that's secondary to am I going to effectively communicate? And if the answer to the effective communication is no, then like fucking what does it mean if I like you? If you're not going to hear and understand and accept the words coming out of my mouth, it doesn't matter if I like you or want to date you or think you're attractive or whatever else, like period. And so I tried to explain it yesterday. I tried to explain it multiple times yesterday. I tried to explain it before yesterday, and it's not getting through. It's not gotten through up to now. So I'm trying to think of a different way to explain it. Trying to be patient. I'm trying to recognize and accept that just choosing to not communicate is not effective either. Just saying like, oh, you're not listening to what I'm saying, so I'm not going to say anything is not really a good option. But like I said, at the same time, just saying this stuff and it not being heard, and me saying this is what I want to happen and it not happening, that's not going to continue. And so the rubber will hit the road somewhere. Something will have to give. If that means that we don't end up seeing each other, okay. But yeah, for me, like I'm not going to continue to hang out and try and talk to someone that I feel like is not listening to me. Um, it's I'm sure, like I mentioned, I can feel myself getting more emotional. I can feel the weight of the weight of feeling like I'm managing someone else's like emotions or situation or whatever else. And I think that's natural in a relationship. Like that's part of it. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm getting out more than I'm giving right now. I feel like it's a net negative and that it's distracting me from other things that are very, very important and big priorities. And so it shouldn't be one or the other. It should not be that I feel like I'm having to sacrifice these other priorities or sacrifice the fun that I'm having at events for a relationship. It should not be one or the other. It needs to be both. That, I'm able to do the things I want, meet my priorities, have the good time at the events I go out to, and the relationship adds to that. And therefore, I can do them both together. If it's one or the other, if I'm picking the relationship or the priorities, if I'm having a good time at the fun by myself or fun with the partner, it's not sustainable. It's a little bit of happiness over here versus some happiness over here when the answer is both together. Like it's not this or that, it's both. So the fact that I am not able to have both right now is a sign that this is not in a good place. And that's just how I feel about it. So how it'll be addressed, we'll see. She wants to come over tomorrow, and honestly, the way I feel right now is I do not want to be at a place where I'm spending several hours with you one on one when we have not gotten these things resolved. And we had conversations over the course of several hours yesterday and they weren't resolved. And so I'm really not willing to do the one on one time. And I will say that. But even like the more scheduled things right now, I'm like, unless it fits into my schedule of something I'm already doing, then the answer is no. I'm not willing to dedicate time to you when I feel like things aren't going well and haven't gone well, and I try to fix them and that's not been effective. And so, like I say, something needs to happen. I will call her and try and talk to her more. And maybe we talk on the phone or something. But yeah, that's the other thing. Even with the coming over tomorrow, is like she wants to do it tomorrow after work, and so I'm like, so you got here, I don't know, 6:30, and then are staying till the next morning till you know leave before work at 7 a.m. Like that's a long time, and I don't feel like just dedicating all that time to one person. Like I would rather be working, honestly. Like, and I'm sure that from 6:30 till the next morning, like I would be getting other things done. And so that's just how I feel about this relationship, is that it's not, right now I feel like it's distracting me from other things that are priorities in my life, and that it hasn't been able to fit into my life nicely because, yeah, because of whatever reasons or reasons. Because when I'm out doing my own thing at the parties and then see her, sometimes it has been good. It has added to it. I have had more fun with her, definitely. And I feel like that's why we've gone on more dates. At this point now, though, it's like, it's too much. It's too close. She wants to be too much us together. And I feel like we just want to do different things. And I think it's fine for us to want to do different things. I think it just means that there will be less time and less things that we do together. And I feel like that's not acceptable and not what's happening right now. That instead of it being, okay, it's fine, we'll just do less together and see each other less often, that's not okay. And so, on me to straighten that out and to get it right. Not her fault at all for liking me and wanting to spend more time with me. Not a bad thing that she wants to spend more time. It's a very good thing. It's part of the reason that I like her. So it's definitely a very good thing. It's just the understanding and acceptance that, hey, baby, if for whatever reason our schedules don't match and we don't see each other this week, that's fine. Accept it. Don't keep hounding me about, well, when is the next time we're going to meet? If we couldn't meet when we were available, then we couldn't meet. And same thing, if we're both at the park together and I don't want to dance, or I don't want to be introduced to your friends because you want to go hang out with your friends, like, you go do it by yourself. Don't try and drag me along with it. I'm not interested in doing that. That's not fun. It's taking me away from the things that I enjoy. And so, yeah. So we'll see. But there does need to be some communication, and maybe at the end of the day, it involves it ending. I don't think it really needs to end, but like I said, at the same time, if things are not changing, then I will end it, because I'm not going to accept the way things are right now. So yeah, overall, you know, had a good time at the little day party, but I was actually expecting to have much more of a good time. I feel like dealing with her, I'm not gonna say ruined it, but changed the mood of the day, changed how I spent my time in the day, changed where my energy is at after the day. So I'm actually a little bit disappointed that that things happen the way they did, and it's not a bad thing, because I feel like it's right now trying to get to a place of understanding and trying to share and get to more common ground, which I think is a good thing. But I don't feel like progress was really significantly made to that effort, and so it was kind of like for the couple hours I put into trying to get her to understand me and me to understand her, I feel like the actual progress was very little. And you know, in those couple hours ended up taking me away from what I really wanted to do, was to enjoy the event. And so so yeah, like I say, like I'm going to make sure that that changes. Like if that means we don't see each other, then fine. But yeah, I'm not gonna continue, you know, having other days thinking back to events and what went wrong and this and that, and how I had the conversation but wasn't able to get through, and then had the conversation again and still wasn't able to get through, and now I'm thinking of ways of how can I say the same thing in a different way so it's finally heard or understood or accepted or whatever. Again, I feel like part of that's, you know, being in a relationship, and so I don't want to just patently say like I'm not willing to do this work. I want to say though that like if I'm doing the work and the work is not leading to improvements or results, then the answer is not keep doing the work forever and ever. At some point, there needs to be, hey, either at some point it needs to be something changes. And so I feel like that's kind of where I'm at with her, is like something needs to change, because I'm not really willing to do just the same things over again, because I feel like it's not working well enough. So, so yeah, that's where I'm at. You know, I feel like even this conversation, I recognize that started off talking about the field report. I feel like I even started off in a little different mood, and then as I went on this further explanation to how the day went, my mood changed in the day, and now recalling it, my mood's even changing a little bit. But like I say, all in all, still very positive. Like the positive thing, particularly too, is I feel like this has and will continue to come up in other relationships. I feel like it has come up in different relationships because it's essentially about how I'm communicating effectively or ineffectively. And what the situation is right now is that I've tried to communicate, but that communication has not led to the outcomes that I want. And so it's been ineffective. And so what this really, you know, I mentioned her and what she's doing. What it's really about is my ineffective communication. It's on me. And so this is good because there's a chance to practice communicating more effectively. This is good because there have been times in other relationships where I have felt some strain and maybe had the same thing where I felt like I've communicated in some way, or, you know, I did say this and the person didn't get it. And so I think by that same token, this would happen in future relationships if my communication is at this same place. And so I do recognize it as like as an opportunity to do something a little bit differently myself. And I feel like the approach that I'm even taking of, you know, we had the conversation yesterday, didn't quite get through, well, let's talk about it again. I feel like later in the night brought it up. Like I said, I want to, you know, have a conversation with her tonight or tomorrow night instead of meeting to continue talking about it. So I feel like I am, one difference between me now and me in the past is that I feel like I have the bit between my teeth where I'm like, I recognize that something isn't quite right, that I'm not quite happy, that I'm not quite satisfied, and that I'm not just like accepting it or just being like, well, I tried to talk about it, let me give it more time. That I'm more of like, no, baby, this is an issue and we need to keep talking about this. And I feel like the fact that I am approaching it head on is a good thing. Will lead to better results, will, you know, is a sea change. It's a huge change. It's me seeking out these difficult conversations where before I'm sure I avoided them more. And so that is what I want, to seek out these conversations, because I feel like they help get to a resolution. You know, whether the resolution is us being on better terms in the relationship, or whether the resolution is me being happier because, you know, I've left a relationship that I feel like was not fulfilling my needs. You get to a resolution more quickly. And, you know, I feel like in approaching and being more willing to have these, you know, difficult conversations, which, you know, don't need to be difficult, don't need to be thought of as difficult, but in having these conversations more as well, that it's me opening up and being a bit more candid, right? It's me not just, you know, it's okay, it's fine, it's nice, it's it's not really what I like, but it's me being like, hey, baby, this was an issue. This is what I noticed. This is how I felt. And again, I'm not bringing things up to blame her or to say it's her responsibility to change or anything like that. My emotions, my responsibility, on me to find a different perspective or to communicate differently. So it's my fault, my responsibility. I'm the one that's holding myself accountable. But I need to continue to do that and do it in a way that is serving my needs. And so, again, being willing to approach these conversations, I feel like is good, is huge, is better communication that will lead to better, deeper relationships. So I think that is a good thing. Trying to get back to the party vibe and off this a little bit. So at the party, this started giving her more attention, and I felt like did notice where some other women responded to that. I feel like some of the women were straight mad. I feel like they got real mad. Like they saw me kissing this girl and got real mad. I feel like some of them got I feel like there were like three reactions. Some got mad, saw it, and were like, I don't want to be around this, or I want to leave, or I want my distance, I want to go somewhere else. Like, I see this, don't like it, I'm done. I feel like some people were like, I see this, and like, I want to see it a little bit more. Like, I'm surprised, or intrigued, or nosy, or like to be in the midst of a budding love, or whatever their reason was. It was more of like, I see them doing this and I kind of want to watch. I feel like it was like again, some people like coming in closer, being in closer proximity, and then like observing or listening in, or that sort of thing. And then I feel like the third response was like, oh, I see this and he's giving her attention, well, he should be giving me attention. Let me show off myself so that maybe he looks over here. Each of them, funny or interesting or whatever in their own way. All good, but yeah, overall, like, this is just another thing, and maybe this is me being selfish and whatever, but like, I'm not willing to not start conversations with people and approach them and that sort of stuff because of the company that comes with me to these events. Like, I'm there to socialize. That is like the big priority, and I'm not willing to give that up. And so if it is, my friends and they want to hang out and they're being like a little more stifled, or hey, let's keep to ourselves, or having fun talking to you and just you, that's not okay in the long term. I want more of the nights where I'm out doing my own thing and practicing my social skills, and my social skills and my self-amusement, doing my own thing, keeping myself entertained. Like, I want to be doing my own thing. And so yeah, like, so yeah, that's just where I'm at. And I recognize that, I accept it, I am willing to communicate that. I think it's a little bit different for most people. I think maybe it even feels like a rejection sometimes, and that's not really what it is, but it is a boundary. And so, yeah, I feel like that's maybe what I'm communicating in a way as well. It's like, this is the boundary that I have these other things I want to do and that I'm going to keep doing because they're very important to me. And if that's not accepted, then the relationship will not go forward in the same way. And I'm willing to sacrifice these relationships for these priorities. And so that's just what it is. But I'm not really displeased. Like I said, the social skills and getting out, that is a big priority of mine. So I do feel like that time was valuable. I do feel like I was talking to more people, all these sorts of things. So that time is valuable. It is a step forward. And doing a little bit of dancing and stuff, I still do get a good exercise in. Like, my calories burned are still up. My diet from yesterday, not not bad at all. Um, Definitely not bad. So yeah, I feel like a number of positives. Overall, a good day. The communication stuff is an issue. Um, I'll get through it one way or another. I feel like talking, even right now, I'm just in like a more calm place than I was several minutes ago. I'm sure you can probably even like tell. I wonder if it looks like crazy on video that like, Jamal's got in this mood, he got in this rant and had to talk about it, and it was just overtaking his mind. And then now I'm like, let it go. She's like, oh yeah, we'll get to it, it'll be fine. It'll happen one way or another, or it won't, or yeah. So like, I'm glad, I feel like this is where I want to be, where stuff happens, I can talk about it, but for the most part, more in the moment, back in my own thing, back in my, vibe and the good moves, good feeling, everything else. And so, two things. One, I think, is that with the example of even of, talking about yesterday and the communication and where that wasn't going well, or where I felt like that wasn't going well, I feel like part of these videos I talk about things that I feel are issues, and in talking about them and talking through them, that I end up feeling better because of it. And so I feel like part of the reason that recording these videos makes me feel better is because it's almost like a personal therapy that I'm doing for myself and on myself. That like, because I am able to maybe look at some limiting beliefs or look at some different perspectives as I'm talking through these things, that talking through them is good, but then I'm able to like, redirect my mind into more positive things. And so it's like me, like molding my mind in an active way, which I feel like is maybe it's a little bit crazy. Maybe it's just like everyone does it to a certain extent, and like but it's just like I actively know that I'm doing it at this point. Like so fine. The other thing I think is also, like I said, like that I'm still very concerned about being productive and working and feeling like I'm doing enough. And so I think maybe also part of the reason I feel good after recording these videos is like, I feel like, hey, this is part of the work that I need to do, and want to do, and is, have made a priority for the day. And so then to get it done is like, okay, I can feel good. I've accomplished something. I've made progress. I've, helped move things forward. And so I think between those two things, and maybe some other reasons that I'm not speaking to right now, that I do feel better after recording these videos. And so during the morning and starting the day off like this, I think is a good thing. I will experiment with doing it in the morning more, and then starting my day off in this way and letting that guide me. So yeah, more to come on that end. Yeah, I know I mentioned other things, like little things around the house as well, and I do want to like do some of those as well. Particularly like set up a little whiteboard so that help me to like identify certain little daily tasks that I don't want to fall through the wayside, and little things that I want to be good at doing consistently. So that will come. Yeah, that'll come in time, and like all these things, they'll come. So just more work, more enjoying the day, and staying positive throughout. So I feel good about that. The other thing I was maybe going to mention yesterday was like conversations I had with a friend of mine. I feel like I feel like what came up a lot was community and social interactions and a sense of belonging. And I feel like those same things come up a lot for me in personal development and social skills. And I feel like that's part of why he and I have connected. I also feel like it is just part of a thing where I feel like some of this stuff is like universal. And I feel like I have approached it in a maybe more niche way. And I feel like that may need to be the case to connect with people where they're at. But I also feel like it's just something, like I said, more universal, where everyone deals with it in their own way, shape, or form, whether it's top of mind for them, whether they make videos about it, whether, they read books and everything else. But I do feel like these same things come up for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. And so I do feel very good about the fact that I am being conscious about it, being intentional about improving and doing things in a better way, and really working on it and owning that process of improvement. And so, good conversations with him in that sense, but whatever, all good.